Good morning everybody, this is Jason here doing my update on my digging for Antigua project. So didn't really do much yesterday, didn't take any video yesterday. We kind of had a day off. Kirsty had a day off from work and went to the beach with the grandparents who are going back home today on one of the last BA flights out of Antigua for the at least for the near future. So I'm going to do a bit of digging today, and I'm going to show you first of all how the seedlings are getting on. They seem to be doing pretty well, and you'll see that, and also a little bit about the garden, talk about what we're going to do, and hopefully get a little bit done today as well. Starting off with the seeds that I planted in these two big pots that have been in our balcony. You can see we're starting to get some germination, some seedling popping up the surface there. This one is the, let me just have a look at the side. This is the radishes. So we've got one radish seedling coming up. These were planted on the 20th of March. Today is the 26th. Looking at this is coriander. Not much action yet. I'm not quite sure how long these are supposed to take to germinate. I suppose I should just look on the seed packet, but let's go look at the ones inside. These are the seeds on the windowsill, just above the sink. And you can see all the different names of the different plants. Again, these were planted on the 20th of March. Today is the 26th. The tomatoes started coming up yesterday. So these ones where there's lots of seedlings coming up, that entire row is tomatoes, little cherry tomatoes. So, and I planted probably 2 seeds in each little pot, so most of them have come up. So we've had a pretty good germination rate there. This is some onions. They're starting to come up in these rows. Again, 2 seeds, a couple of seeds in each one. Some of them not showing anything yet, but others, they started to come through yesterday. Nothing from the zucchini or the squash, pepper or the lettuce, 2 lettuces or the other onions. These ones are red onions on this immediate left-hand side. So all these seeds take different numbers of time to germinate. I know that peppers, for example, can take between 1 and 2 weeks, maybe even a bit longer, depending on the temperature. Here, obviously, it's pretty warm, so I'm not sure whether this is to plan or not, but so far, so good. And then looking across at my sweet potatoes, this one is going ballistic. So this was planted again 6 days ago. It was halved and put on the windowsill. And there's lots of slips growing there, and this one, I don't know if you can see it, but there's just a little right in the middle there. There's one just starting to go. These are the 2 purpley variety. This one at the back, if I can coordinate myself looking through the camera, there is a root on the bottom, so it is doing something, but so there's a fly in there by the looks of it. But so far nothing has actually sprouted, but it's definitely reacting, so I'm looking forward to some sprouts from that. And then the next step, as I said before, is to twist these off when they get to a certain height, then pop them in some water and let them root so then they can be planted out. And then I've also started collecting egg boxes for more seedling trays. And this is some seeds from peppers, and this is seeds from a pumpkin. The pumpkin seeds, I'm pretty confident they're going to go because they're just regular pumpkins from Antigua. These peppers are store-bought peppers, so they're probably a hybrid, so I'm not really sure that these seeds are actually going to grow. Also, some vegetables, it's optimal to let the fruit completely ripen on the vine, and then you basically let it almost spoil, and then you harvest the seeds. Give the seeds enough time to properly develop before the fruit's harvested. So those pumpkin seeds, I imagine they're going to grow okay. These ones, not so sure, so we'll see. I've also got little bit of eggshells there because we're starting to put fruit and veg on the compost heap. Very quick look at the plot here. It's been drying off. It's still been raining more or less every day, so we finished this a couple of days ago. You can see it's starting to dry, so I'm going to go down there this morning and just try and break it up a little bit more, especially these areas here where it's quite heavy, the soil. And then tomorrow or the day after, I'm going to get some horse manure hopefully and try and improve the soil a little bit. Just a quick little shot to show you that it's a regular, nice and sunny day here in Antigua. We're back to our normal weather, and so it's probably a little bit hot for digging, but I'm going to give it a go. A little bit of video of Rosie doing her bit while she's off school. Actually, it's the weekend, isn't it? So this is the weekend. She's actually back at school on Monday doing e-learning, and at the moment she's making, what are you making, Rosie?
Pumpkin bread rolls.
Pumpkin bread rolls. This is some more of the pumpkin we had left over still from the other day, and making them into little bread rolls. That's nice, isn't it? Jolly good. It's now the 28th of March. Antigua has been put into a kind of a semi-lockdown mode. We're still allowed to go out during the day. Most businesses are on their last day today, and then they'll be closed from today onwards for at least an initial period of 2 weeks. And then but sort of essential businesses, obviously medical services, police, defence force, social services like tyre changing people, food shops, all that kind of stuff. Pharmacies will remain open. So we're in a semi sort of lockdown. There's also a curfew from tonight from I think 8 p.m. till 5 a.m. every day or every evening throughout the night to help stabilise the situation. And I'm continuing with my gardening. So this is my little seedling table or seeding potting table, whatever you're supposed to call it. So I'm going to plant some more seeds today. The other ones have been going about a week. I'll show you those in a second. So I've got a whole range of different herbs here: chives, basil, parsley, peppermint, dill, thyme, and some coriander. I've also already planted some coriander. These seeds come courtesy of Carey, good friend of mine, and her mum Marilyn brought them from England. So hopefully they're going to be good. She's had some luck with them already. I've started to make some little plastic name tags with dates on them that I'm going to start using instead of just the sticky tape I used last time. This is my little potting area. You can see we've got the peat in the container, stop it drying out, and my little tabletop there. I've cut up some little what do you call them, sticks or posts from pallet wood that we had lying around. So I've cut that up, and what I'm going to use that for is marking out straight lines on my plot. So I'm going to have a plot of, it's going to be organised in a certain way so there's paths in it so you can walk on it but not walking on the bed area. So they're going to help me lay those lines out. I'm going to do that later. Plastic storage container that's got a bit brittle and towards the end of its life, so I've retasked it as a seed tray. So I've already put some rocks in the bottom and some dirt in there, and I've wet it down before I start planting them. I might wet it again. This stuff sometimes is quite hard to wet because it's very, very dry. And so when you put water in, the stuff just floats around, but so it takes a bit of soaking. So I've done it once, I'll do it again, and then I'll plant some seedlings. Just a little quick update on how far the seedlings are going. The ones I planted, what, the 20th I think it was, about 7 or 8 days ago. This is the sweet potato that's really, really going well. Lots of slips on that. This one's also now got slips going on it on both sides. These two here, don't see any budding yet, but this one on the left has got lots of roots on it, so hopefully eventually we'll get there. But these are different varieties, so these are the purple ones, these ones are orange ones. The other seedlings, the tomatoes and the onions, continue to grow from strength to strength. I've also got a couple of squash seedlings have poked through just yesterday. One of them, well, this one down here overnight, this one here started to come up yesterday, so I'm hoping that some of the others will germinate as well. These are the final seedlings I've got planted so far. You can see the coriander has come up like, is it coriander? Yes, it is coriander. It's come up like crazy, so I don't know whether that needs pricking out or something. I think there's probably a little bit too densely sown there, but anyway, they're growing like crazy. Only one radish so far, or is that another one coming up there as well? Oh yeah, that's another one there on the right. So maybe we'll get some more coming up. Ground that I've prepared, or I'm still in the process of preparing, is still not a lot different from when I last videoed it. I have dug it all over again, so I don't know if you can tell, but the texture is a lot finer than it was, especially in these areas here. The clay is just still very clayish. It's kind of hard to break it down, but I'm getting there. Really, the most important thing is to aerate the soil from my reading. Again, I'm not an expert, but this is what I understand. This stuff here is something I gathered yesterday, and I'm going to spread on the ground today. This is Sargassum compost. This is stuff that has washed up on the shore in beaches in Antigua over the last few years, increasingly so, and it's become a bit of a problem. But what they've been doing on some of the beaches is piling it up at one end of the beach. So this stuff has been piled up maybe a year, 2 years ago, and it's really rotted down. I don't know if you can actually see. If I grab a handful of it here and sort of show it, it's got a really nice sort of soil texture to it. When you smell it, it really smells of soil, not at all of seaweed or anything sea-ish. You can see there's some beach sand in there as well. This has been piled up in piles maybe a metre or two high, and it's had, you know, essentially a year or two's rain on it. So I'm hoping that all the salt has been washed out of it. I have to give a bit of a confession. I actually tasted it yesterday, so I put a load of it in my mouth on several times, chewed it up a bit to see if I could taste any salt. I did not swallow it. I didn't inhale. And so it wasn't salty. It wasn't really salty at all. In fact, I could barely taste any salt. So hopefully this is going to be good for the garden. So I'm going to be tipping that in and digging a little bit of that in later. I might just tip it on and then dig it in a couple of days' time. I've also today got to start working on the frame. So what the plan is to put posts around this at regular intervals, maybe 5 or 6 feet intervals, and then we've got some netting. It's about 4 foot high. That's not so netting, it's more like fencing. It's like the fencing you see in the distance there, like chain link fencing with a plastic coating on it. So it's about 4 foot high, the post's about the same, so I'm going to have that round. That's the aim of that, is that when we get planted, to stop the dogs coming in and digging it up, because they dig everything. and they destroy anything that they come into contact with, so I'm going to be doing that. I've also got some netting to help cut down the actual direct amount of sunlight when I first plant things out. I'm a little bit worried that they're going to get burnt by the sun, so it's very strong here. So I've got some netting to shade at least half of this area for when I initially plant things out. And I'll probably use this area as well for putting pots in as the seedlings grow. Maybe I'll pop them out and then have them outside under this netting, and they'll be sort of semi-protected from the sun. And I've also built just go over here. I've also built a little compost heap. So this is out of pallets. This was something I saw on the internet. So really this is just a combination of household waste, vegetable waste, also grass cuttings and various other cuttings. Some of it's garden weeds that were actually mulching and composting in another part of the garden, and I've transferred them across. And when I did, you could see that the bottom half of it was already turned more or less to soil. So this is looking pretty good. And then finally, I've got this little area over here, and this is horse manure compost. So again, this is well rotted down. This has been in a field where there are horses. A friend of ours, Sada, he's let me have some of this, and it's been well rotted down. I know that there's a problem of putting this kind of thing. I'll get a handful of this. This is, you can see it's very rotted, very rotted. It's dry. It doesn't smell of anything. It just smells soily. So that's going to be mixed in with the other Sargassum stuff. I might get some more of both, just depending on how it looks after I've dug the first lot in.